What if everything you've been told about becoming rich is only half true? For years, people have repeated the same advice. Start a business, become an entrepreneur, be your own boss. And while those things can absolutely create wealth, they are not the only path. Because the truth is that millions of wealthy people never built a company. They never invented a product. They never became CEOs. They simply understood something that most people never learn: the difference between working for money and owning things that make money. Today, we're going to explore how ordinary people quietly build extraordinary wealth without starting a business, without becoming famous, and without taking massive risks. And by the end of this video, you may completely rethink what wealth actually means. One of the most dangerous financial myths is the belief that wealth comes from income alone. Most people spend their lives chasing a higher salary, a promotion, a better job, more overtime, more hours, more effort. But income and wealth are not the same thing. A person earning $50,000 per year can become wealthy. A person earning $500,000 per year can stay broke. Because wealth is not determined by what you earn. It is determined by what you keep and what you own. Many people increase their income only to increase their expenses: a bigger house, a newer car, more subscriptions, more debt, more lifestyle inflation. The result? Years pass. The paycheck grows, but the net worth barely moves. The wealthy understand something different. Income is temporary. Assets are permanent, and assets are what create long-term wealth. Imagine two people. Both earn exactly the same salary. The first person spends every extra dollar. The second person uses part of every paycheck to acquire assets: stocks, index funds, real estate, dividend investments, retirement accounts. Over time, something incredible happens. The second person slowly builds ownership, and ownership changes everything. Because ownership allows money to work. Instead of trading time for money forever, money begins producing more money. At first, the growth seems small, almost invisible. But wealth rarely appears dramatically. It grows quietly, month after month, year after year. While most people focus on earning, wealthy people focus on accumulating ownership. Most people underestimate compound growth because it looks boring in the beginning. The first year feels slow. The second year feels slow. Even the third year can feel disappointing. But compounding behaves differently from ordinary growth. It accelerates. What once seemed insignificant becomes powerful. Small investments become larger investments. Profits generate additional profits. Growth starts creating more growth. And eventually, the process becomes difficult to stop. This is why many wealthy people appear to get rich suddenly. But the reality is different. The growth was happening for years. Most people simply weren't paying attention. Wealth often arrives quietly before it becomes visible. People love dramatic success stories: the overnight millionaire, the lucky investor, the viral entrepreneur. But most real wealth is built through consistency. Not excitement, not luck, not genius. Consistency. Investing regularly, avoiding unnecessary debt, living below your means, increasing savings as income grows, allowing time to do the heavy lifting. These actions are not exciting, but they are powerful. The financial world rewards discipline far more often than brilliance. And that is good news, because discipline is available to everyone. Most people spend money to look wealthy. Wealthy people often spend money to become wealthier. They buy assets before luxury, ownership before status, cash flow before appearance. They understand a simple question: Will this purchase make me richer or poorer in the future? That question alone can transform financial decisions. Every dollar has a job. It can either finance consumption or finance future freedom. The choice is repeated thousands of times throughout a lifetime, and those small decisions eventually create massive differences. You do not need to start a business to build wealth. You do not need a revolutionary idea. You do not need millions of followers. And you do not need extraordinary luck. What you need is understanding, ownership, patience, consistency, and enough discipline to let time work in your favor. Because wealth is rarely built in a single moment. It is built through small decisions, repeated for years. And those decisions eventually create a life that most people assume was achieved overnight. If you want to learn more about money, investing, wealth building, financial freedom, and the habits that quietly separate wealthy people from everyone else, subscribe to the channel. Because the path to wealth is not usually hidden. Most people simply ignore it long enough to never see where it leads.